Welcome to a special episode of Undercard Heroes. My name is Francisco.
And I'm Heather.
And we're here in Las Vegas for UFC 317. This is a special episode for you guys. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Ready for this one?
Let's do it.
And today I was at UFC X. I met a bunch of UFC fighters, got my photo with Brandon Moreno. It's been a fantastic weekend. But right now, we want to talk about our picks for UFC 317.
So I'm new to the UFC, so Francisco is going to explain his picks, and I'll interject if I have some questions.
First fight, I want to talk about Terrance McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borshev. Now, this fight, I'm going with Terrance McKinney on this one. I think, if you want to go under 2 rounds, I could see this fight ending within the first 2 rounds. Both these guys, I think, are going to keep this fight standing. Borshev doesn't have any takedowns in his UFC record. Terrance McKinney, I could see him mixing in some takedowns, but ultimately, I think he's going to get the win, and I think that this one probably won't go past 2 rounds.
Nice. Sounds good.
The next fight, Viviane Araújo versus Tracy Cortez. This one, I'm going to say this one is my lock for this whole fight card. I think Tracy Cortez is going to dominate this fight. She's got 1 loss in the UFC to Rose Namajunas. I think ultimately this fight is going to go to decision, but I think it's going to go Tracy Cortez's favor.
Wow, I love to hear that confidence. I can't wait. That sounds like a good one.
I went back and forth with this, but I'm going Brandon Royval over Joshua Van. Now, Joshua Van is coming into this with a ton of hype. I think that he's got fantastic potential, but he just hasn't fought, the top fighters in this division. And Brandon Royval has been up there with the best. He's beaten Brandon Moreno. He's fought Pantoja twice. I just think that Brandon Royval has more experience. I think he's got a better skill set. And I think that ultimately this is probably a step too high for Joshua Van. I think he's going to have some moments where he looks great, but ultimately I think that Brandon Royval is going to get this one done.
Wow, sounds good. You convinced me.
This one, I'm also adding 2 extra fights onto this one. These are separate bets. I'm not going to parlay these. I'm just going to, put some money on Kai Kara-France to win this. I think, after his knockout of Steve Erceg, I have just been high on Kai Kara-France. I love his walkout. I love the Mari tradition that he incorporates into it. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight, and if he can stop the takedowns of Pantoja, I think that he can find some success on the feet, and I'm betting on him to get the win here. He's got over 80% takedown defense, and I think that he's going to put that to work here against Pantoja.
Wow, that's great. I saw some of that footage too with the Maori, walkouts, and that's just so intimidating and so exciting. It gets everybody hyped up. I can't wait to see that. I hope he does that tomorrow.
I hope he walks out with that too. And this one, main event, I've got to go with my boy Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I will never bet against Charles Oliveira. He is one of my favorite fighters, absolute favorite fighter in the UFC. I want him to win this fight. I think he can beat Ilia Topuria. I think Ilia Topuria is a fantastic fighter, but the 2 things I'll say about his highlight finishes over Volkanovski and Max Holloway. 1, that was a Volkanovski that just got head kicked by Islam Makhachev. And 2, that was a Max Holloway that just came down from 155. This isn't the same Max Holloway. This was not the same Max Holloway that fought Dustin Poirier at 155. This was a bulked up Max Holloway. So he had to cut a ton of weight to get back down to 145 to fight Topuria. I think that he looked drained in that fight. I don't think that was the best version of Max Holloway. And Ilia Topuria put him out. So I think that Ilia Topuria, although I don't want to take anything away from him, those are some quality wins over some fantastic fighters. I think that they were not the best version of Volk, and it was not the best version of Max Holloway. I think we're going to see the best version of Charles Oliveira, and I don't think that Ilia Topuria is going to be able to beat him.
He's always been your boy. I'm going to be pulling for him.
Thank you again for joining us for this special episode of Undercard Heroes.
It's been an exciting week. Tell us what you think. Do you agree with Francisco's picks? Is there anything you missed? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks, everyone.